To the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. Listen, today's topic is going to be in reference to self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting beliefs, because you realize that a lot of the things that hold us back are our self-limiting beliefs, right? We're not truly limited, but we limit ourselves, right? We tell ourselves that certain things limit us. And sometimes the things that we say limit us come from society, come from social media, comes from our childhood trauma, from some of our experiences. So self-limiting beliefs.
Yes. This is definitely an interesting topic because everyone has been affected by this in one point in time or another. Okay. We can start with just honestly the very beginning. Self-limiting beliefs are developed in childhood, right? If you don't have people that are encouraging you and telling you that you can do certain things, then you grow up thinking that that's just not for me because I'm a woman. I can't do this because I'm a man. Normally, when it comes to wanting to do certain things in life, you know, girls are put in a box of, maybe housewife, receptionist, secretary, things like that. And men and boys are told that they can be bosses, managers, other different things. They have their box. And that's not to say that that's good or bad. But in both cases, if they're fed into that, hey, you can do all that, but you are capable, of doing more. Or if they come to you and say, hey, little boy, hey, little girl, what do you want to be when you grow up? And if they say president, you should not scoff at it and say, oh, you can't be president. You should feed into that and say, you know what, you can be whoever you want to be. If you want to be the president, I'm going to vote for you. But in most cases, there'll be people that'll scoff at certain ideas.
But let me cut you off, Michael, because it doesn't really matter if they scoff at it or not, right? Because we're talking about a self-limiting belief. We're not talking about something that someone else puts on us. Like, people can put whatever they want to put on us, but like when they put it on you, you got to reject that, right? I mean, so I think that's right.
But as a child, how do you reject that? You don't know any better. An adult can reject that. But as a child, you're going by what you're being told that you can do or what you see. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, myself, my grandmother asked me what I wanted to be. I said I wanted to be a veterinarian and a pediatrician when I grow up. That's what I wanted to be. And she told me, that's what you can do. I don't know how I thought that I could be a pediatrician and a veterinarian, but that's what I wanted to do. And she said I could do it. I also said that I wanted to go on the moon. And she said I could do it. Of course, my desires changed as I got older. But me growing up, I was never told that I couldn't do something. So I believed that whatever I decided I wanted to do, I could do it. And I think that's a bit of a change. Of course, when it comes to schooling, sometimes you may have teachers that may make you feel like you're not as good as others or whatever, and that then makes you take on their beliefs. But as we get older and become an adult, we have to fight those demons even harder because that's when we really start self-limiting because we're taking on what other people have told us and then also what we may internally feel, maybe because it's something new or something that we're scared of. So we're just deciding, that's too hard. I'm not going to do it. And we may limit ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to you, man. You're right. I mean, that childhood thing is pretty strong because I think that when you look at, where self-limiting beliefs come from, I'm sure they start with childhood. So shout out to you for breaking that down because most of our limitations derive from our parents. If your parents didn't do certain things or didn't accomplish certain things, then they may, tell you, well, this and this is not for you, or, you know, you'll never accomplish this because of your race or your sex or whatever your handicap may be, or things of this nature. And you'll internalize that kind of stuff. And, and because they had some things that they didn't overcome, and maybe they blamed it on certain things, certain beliefs that maybe got handed down from them. I think some of this stuff is probably being handed down from other generations, you can't do this because you're, XYZ. And, but these self-limiting beliefs, I mean, it's amazing. We always talk about the mind and mindset and things of this nature. Someone tries to limit you and you decide, nah, I'm not limited. That's just a very powerful thing. But you're right, as a child, you don't really, I mean, your beliefs are actually being molded by your parents. So you don't really know what's possible until you get the freedom to go out here and push beyond what someone told you was possible for you. Then you realize, okay, I love my parents, but they don't know. They don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I think we can both attest to, maybe limitations being put on us in some kind of fashion, some sort of form of fashion by, parents or adults when we were children. I remember, I was talking to you about how when I was in 7th grade, I had a math teacher put limitations on me. 8th grade, and I was going from just mathematics to algebra. Well, I was supposed to be going to algebra in 9th grade, but she decided that, I don't think you're smart enough for algebra, and I let that affect me for a period of time. I was like, man, okay, I'm not smart enough, Now, granted, once again, you're talking about a child,
Exactly.
So. And I didn't go home and tell my parents about it. I mean, I should have, but I didn't. But that was something that I internalized. I mean, the thing about people putting limitations on you, they don't really have any power until you accept them and adopt them as your own. Now they got power, right? So, so it's just funny how that works, man. But of course, as a child, it's a little bit different. But as adults, a lot of times we're in this space of self-limiting beliefs where we're not doing things as adults because of things that happened to us as children. So we believe that, I can't do these things because of things that happened to me. And we don't probably even realize that it's stuff that comes from childhood.
You don't realize you're doing it. Yeah, or where it comes from. It's almost something like it seems like it's ingrained in you or programmed in you that you then, as an adult, have to figure out how to reprogram. I remember when I was going to college, I went to college for a art scholarship, and I then discovered video games, and I wanted to be a video game creator. I really did. But as soon as I found out that it was heavily involved in math, I decided I'm not good enough to do that. I can't do video games because I'm not good in math.
Michael, let me cut you off because you still do that though. You know that, right? Anytime something comes up with math, you'll say, "Oh, it's too much math in that. I don't want."
Yeah.
I don't want to do
so
that.
See, I still do it, and I'm thinking, hey, I've attacked all my demons. I still have a math demon on me. I'm not very I'm not very confident when it comes to math. I'm admitting that I'm not very confident when it comes to math outside of simple math. Because I've even surprised myself sometimes. We've been having some conversations, adding some numbers up, and I got the answer before you did. And I'm like, oh, shoot, go me,
Yeah,
so instead of going into that, I still kind of shy away. So that's something that I have to deal with. I don't know if somebody put that in me that I'm just not going to get it, or if I did that to myself. But that is a self-limiting belief that I have on myself, that I'm just not going to really cut it when it comes to math. But I say all that to say that I could have possibly had a wonderful career in the gaming. And I shot myself away from it, but I decided to pursue computers though, because I did like that. Okay, fast forward. I graduate. It's time for internships. And when I go on these interviews, I see the women, but the women are behind the computer doing the help desk, setting up the tickets, taking the complaints. And I did a couple of interviews. I told my grandmother about it, and I said, I didn't go to school to write up a ticket for somebody else to fix something that I know I can fix. So I'm kind of conflicted here because I gotta do the internship, but I don't want to sit behind a computer. I want to fix the computers. So basically, loving my grandmother to death, she told me, she said, well, you know what? Get the position and then show them what you could do. I said, okay, I'll do that. Did my internship. I was behind that computer. And one day, one of the texts was taking too long. And the person was like, I need this fixed right away. And I knew how to do it. And it was the VP of the company. I knew how to do it. So I said, you know what? I'll come over there and fix it. And I went over there and I, less than 5 minutes, fixed this problem. And he said, why are you behind the desk when you can be doing what they're doing? I said, that's my question to you, sir. Next thing you know, I'm fixing computers. 6 months later, not only am I fixing computers, but now I'm the head of the department. I'm still interning. But if my grandmother had not said to me, go in there and show them what you can do, I probably would have still been behind that computer, because in that company and society at that time, if women were in IT, we were taking the tickets. We were not carrying the computers and fixing them. The men do that. But she told me, show them what you can do. And that's what I did. But if she never told me, I'd be behind a computer still, taking people's tickets, maybe.
No doubt, man. How do you think that, I'm sitting there thinking, like, because how does, as adults though, like, I think that you talk about so many different facets of life. You think about even something like dating. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see women say things like, oh, all men cheat. Even that's a self-limiting belief, because basically it's like, well, when it comes to guys, I'm not going to take any guys seriously because all men cheat. So, and that's based on your experiences, right? So that's what I mean by, you got childhood, you got trauma, you got certain experiences that happen to you. Then it's like, oh, I'm never going to find love because all men cheat. So now you got a self-limiting belief that love is not possible because your experiences have conditioned you to believe that it's just not possible. All men are this way or whatever. I'm never going to find happiness. And so that's something that can hold you back as well.
It is. And here's the thing. We'll say, because I was one of them, I was like, oh, all men are dogs. They all cheat and things like that. Like, I just felt that way. And see, when you say that, not only is it, I guess, comforting to yourself, because you're just like, I'm not the only one being cheated on, right? So it kind of helps you be okay with if you get into the next situation and it's like that, oh, well, it's okay because everybody's being cheated on. But you're putting the blame on the person, right? Which is easier than saying, this is not working because I don't believe that I can get better. We're saying all men are dogs. That means they're the problem. But honestly, you're the problem because you're accepting it. You're not putting your foot down and saying, these are the things that I'm not going to deal with. And as soon as I see it, I'm not going to have you tell me that my eyes are deceiving me or my ears are deceiving me. I see it. This is a problem. You got to go. Now taking, prospect number 3. It's not working with you. Okay, now taking prospect number 4. Because what we must admit as women, there's always guys waiting in the background for their turn. Okay, so there's not a lack of influx of men that are waiting to get an opportunity. It's about picking or finding the right one, but it starts with self. So yeah, you are limiting yourself by saying all men are dogs, but honestly what you're saying is, I'm not worthy of a good man. Once you make your decision that, you know what, that man was a dog, but there is a good man out there for me, and I'm not going to settle until I find it. That's when you are breaking that self-limited belief. But it's easier to put the blame and cast a shadow on the other person.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Wow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I just think that sometimes, we hold ourselves back because of so many different things, man. Even race. I mean,
Oh, gosh. Especially race.
I mean, growing up in our household, man, you hear stuff every now and then, and and you kind of grow up thinking this kind of stuff, like, oh man, I can't, I can't do this, I can't do that because I'm black or this and that, and it limits you all throughout life. I mean, even dealing with like the police, let's say that. I mean, all police are bad people. Oh, these police are just gonna do me this way and that way.
Yeah. Driving while black.
Well, yeah, that. I mean, and don't get me wrong now. So
yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that. There's some truth. But sometimes you wasn't wrong, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You was doing something wrong now. So it ain't because you're black.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so, yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but with all that being said, I just think that sometimes, man, we take on these things. Then we start to realize, man, that anything is possible once you believe anything is possible, right?
Exactly.
Once you believe anything is possible, then then that's it. Nobody can tell you anything, man. So when you don't have any limiting beliefs to combat with, and you can just focus on, hey man, anything I want to do, I really can do. I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's when the world is yours to some degree, because you just put in the work. You focus on the work. You don't focus on any of this other stuff, man. All this other stuff is noise, man. You just focus like, hey, I'm going to make sure that I, get my stuff together and make sure that I'm a good candidate for whatever it is I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
And when what's for me is for me, it's going to be for me. I'm going to, I don't believe in any kind of, any ideals that say that I'm limited because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful thing to wake up every day to know that you can do anything that you want to do. That anything is possible with your effort and positioning, the way you position yourself and things of this nature. So I don't know. I thought that was just a real cool thing, man, because I think that, even you think about some folks, man, who may believe in love and they get married, then they get a divorce. And now because of something that was once a positive experience, now it becomes a negative. And so now it's like, oh, I don't believe in that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just so many things that I think that we end up getting self-limiting beliefs from, that happen to us unconsciously, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And all we have to do is have a certain experience, and it's like, oh man, that's all bad.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, and especially like you're saying, like certain things that are happening that we're not even conscious of. I mean, society will put things up, commercials, social media. You will see certain things and start to believe that, oh, this person has that because it's them, right? But that's not for me. That nice car that person is driving, oh, they have that because, they probably have degrees and, they probably have this, they probably have that. And, I believe you even have a friend. I mean, I know of the person, but you know this man, he's got foreign cars and several successful businesses, and he doesn't even have a college diploma.
No, he doesn't.
Right. And I mean, the businesses are legal. Okay. So we're not even talking about, on the flim flam.
So now we're talking about how the education system will put self-limiting beliefs on you.
Exactly.
You're going to school to get self-limiting beliefs injected into you.
Yes.
Because they're going to tell you that if you don't have this and this, you can't be successful.
Exactly.
Which is...
If you don't have this 4-year degree or, a doctorate or whatever, you cannot be successful. You cannot have a successful business. If you don't have a business degree, you can't have a successful business. You got a business degree?
No, I don't.
Okay, and you have a very successful business. I don't have a business degree. We have a very successful business.
Come on, man.
So, I mean, I was even had a conversation with Donald one time. I was like, I'm kind of mad that I have this 4-year degree in IT and I'm not even doing nothing with it. And I'm making more money doing this than I was in IT. But they don't tell you that. They say you have to get this degree in order to make this amount of money.
Imagine if the school system told you, listen, you're going to go through 12 years here and, you can make it without doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
If you bet on yourself and go out here and use your unique abilities to create something special, you won't need all the rest of this other stuff. If the school system told you that, oh my God, they'd be in trouble. I mean, so the education system even limits you, man.
Yes.
I'll be honest, most of the successful business owners I know, they don't have degrees, and the ones that do will tell you that, man, I didn't really need that to do this. I mean, they appreciate the experience, and we're not certainly here to say anything bad about higher education. I mean, we both have benefited from education higher than high school, no doubt about it. So, but I'm just saying, like, to do certain things. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do in this life, man. Literally, nothing can hold you back as long as you don't have self-limiting beliefs.
That's right.
But when you got them self-limiting beliefs, I mean, that's what's holding you back. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, even with us in business when we're trying to encourage other folks. I mean, they don't believe it. We believe it, but they don't believe it. And it doesn't really happen until they believe it. Once they believe it, oh, man, we off and running.
Oh, yeah.
But they got to believe it. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm at a point in my life where if you argue your limitations, you get to keep them.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not going to,
exactly.
I believe in you, but if you don't, and you're going to argue with me about it,
exactly.
You won, bro. Sis.
Exactly. We give you all these positive things and telling you what we see. And if you tell us that it's the exact opposite,
this ain't going to happen.
Okay, you win.
You won.
You win.
If you argue your limitations, you get to keep them.
It's cool.
You won, man. I'm going to do my part in letting you know what's possible. But when you tell me, I can't do that because of X, Y, Z, da, da, da.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you won, man. I mean, you won the argument.
Because you can't win against what someone firmly believes in themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, children or even friends. You see potential in people, but if they don't see it, they're never going to reach that potential that you're seeing. They have to believe it.
And here's another thing. Like, people get mad at you when you don't buy into the limitations they put on themselves.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you what's possible. Now, you mad at me.
You
mad at me because I'm not buying into the limitations that you put on yourself.
Yeah.
I'm giving you possibilities. You're giving me limitations, and you're mad at me because I won't buy into your limitations.
That's right.
That's wild, man.
It is. It is. But it's part of the process.
Yeah.
It's part of the process. So, I mean, there's really not much of anything that you can really do when it comes to a person that is being like that, except just be there for them, I guess. I mean, because they have to fix it. That's the thing. You can't fix it for them. Yeah. They have to fix it. It's like that. They have that saying, "Oh, the sky is the limit." Everybody thinks that that's a wonderful phrase, but actually, it's not, because you're saying the sky is the limit. So you're still imposing a limit.
Wow.
You got to go beyond. It's infinity and beyond. There is no limits.
There's no limit.
You can do whatever you put your mind to. The sky is not the limit. Bust through that sky, because there's something else past there.
Yeah, and I think this stuff is self-limiting because, like, you're fully capable of doing these things. Like, whatever you want to do, you're fully capable of doing it. So that's why it's a self-limiting belief. I mean, I look back on my life, anything that I told myself I couldn't do, I actually could. I mean, I was fully capable of doing it. But when you buy into certain ideals that you can't do this because you're not this way or that way or whatever, these things have control over your actions. Your mind has control over your physical abilities, and then you don't do certain things because mentally you've already checked out of it, and so physically you don't put in the work because you're like, man, I can't do this, man. I'm limited because of whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, but man, when you can break through that mental barrier of self-limiting beliefs and realize that anything's possible.
Yes.
Bruh, I mean, it's a powerful thing to know that whatever you decide to do, it's just a matter, do you want to do it? I think that's why people always say, like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's why they always say that, because you realize you're talking to somebody that has adopted self-limiting beliefs. And so you get to a point in the conversation where you just stop and say, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Let's start there, because it don't sound like you want it that bad. You know what I'm saying? But if you really, really, really want it, all these limitations that you're giving me,
they're just excuses.
Well, hey, you said it, but
it's excuses, and I mean, and that's human. That's one of the very first things that everybody does. Just some people don't let the excuse come out their mouth. But there's others that are like, yeah, no, I couldn't do that because of X, Y, Z. And then I think even if you watch their face, even you'll see in their face, you're like, oh God, why did I say that? Because that wasn't good enough. But whatever, But we all, I think instinctively, it's a, what do you call it? It's a natural reaction to try to come up with an excuse to validate. But when you get to that point of realizing that whatever your excuse is, it's not enough of a validation, that's then when you start working on yourself and realizing, okay, there's some things I need to change and I'm ready to change because I don't want to use excuses anymore.
Listen, I don't even use time as a limitation anymore. Like if someone says, Don, we need to get together. First thing I say is let's put it on the calendar. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Because they might say, come when you have time. I'm like, man, bro, time isn't something you have. Time is something that you make. So, and if I wait till I have time, I'm going to be putting limitations on us getting together. So what we're going to do is we're going to make time.
That's right.
We're going to get together because I've been guilty of using, time. Oh, I didn't have time. No, I had time. I mean, what I'm saying? Yeah. I just didn't make it. I mean, I had the time. I didn't make it. So it's just funny how some of this stuff works. When you start, I always say it's all about perception, right? Yeah. I believe that truly, man. Like the way you perceive something is exactly the way it's going to be. I mean, your perception, people say is reality, but I truly believe that. So if I perceive it as a limitation, it's going to be a limitation. But if I perceive it as an opportunity, it's going to be an opportunity. If I perceive it as a possibility, it's going to be a possibility. So it's all about whatever I perceive it as. Yes. And the thing that we both, I think about life is that people can put limitations on you all they want to. You can't don't get mad when somebody put a limitation on you. Yeah. Get mad when you accept it.
Exactly.
That's when you should get mad.
Exactly.
Don't get mad when somebody puts a limitation on you. You have no control over people putting limitations on you. You only have control of whether or not you accept it and live that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
and it's all about mindset.
Yeah, for sure, man.
If you're limiting your beliefs, you have that limiting belief, that's a fixed mindset, right? So that means you're saying, I believe I'm broken and there's no fixing to it. The opposite of that is the growth mindset, okay? And that is the most productive and the most positive mindset that you can have, okay? I know where I'm at, but I know where I can go. And I'm willing to do the work to get there. I might not get there as fast as the next person, but I believe that I can get there. And I'm just going to be a better me every day till I get to that goal. And that's just what it is. We have to work it out amongst ourselves, and it's possible for everyone. No one is stuck.
Yeah, no one is
possible
stuck,
for everyone. Yeah.
Yes. So listen, man, we're not going to adopt any self-limiting beliefs.
No.
We know anything is possible, and that's going to be our mindset. Okay.
That's right.
Guys, listen, man, this is going to conclude the episode of Free Game Don D, Life, Family, and Business.
That's right. Like and subscribe, y'all.
Please hit the subscribe button.
We got some more stuff for you. All right.